Welcome to this episode of the Multifamily Mindset Growthcast. We're having another deep dive extended cut. Excited about this one. No notes prepared for this one because we really just want to dive in deep. It's one of the episodes where Dallas told a story and then there was an action item at the end. So I kind of wanted to break that story up and dive a little bit deeper into it. We're going to do it on episode, what episode was it? 36, I believe.
Could be 36, 54, 55.
Let me pull
it's good on. I mean, that's a testament to the drip and how far we've came.
It was 36. I was
36. Right. There you go.
We're going to talk about 3 Foot World. It's the story of Mark Owen. He's a Navy SEAL. But before we get into it, I just want to remind everybody to subscribe to the podcast, share it with those you love, listen to it every day. We've got these daily drips that Dallas drops that are so good and really help me get my mindset right before the day starts, and I know it benefits a lot of other people as well. So,
and if you're a visual person, we're now on YouTube.
We are now on YouTube.
So you can go back and rewatch mainly extended cuts
Only
on
extended
YouTube.
Cuts, really.
We don't have the daily drip, although we'd love to hear from you. If you're a visual person, you love that piece, dude, we're totally open to recording the daily drip as a visual piece and uploading that to YouTube as well. Just let us know.
Yeah.
And we'd love to serve you.
Yes, definitely. If that's something you guys are interested in, let us know. We can make it happen. All right, so let's dive in. Episode 36, 3 Foot World, Mark Owen. It's a story that Dallas told about Mark Owen. He's a Navy SEAL. Navy SEALs, we know, are complete badasses. They do a ton of amazing stuff. This Navy SEAL, Mark Owen, had a fear of heights. I feel like that's not a very common fear amongst Navy
I don't know
SEALs.
how he became a Navy SEAL.
But he was scared. but he was scared of heights, right? So some experienced climbers, they went climbing. The way that you tell the story, Dal, is they shoot straight up the mountain. They get going really quick, and they're up the mountain a couple hundred feet. And then all of a sudden, Mark starts to have.
He shares the story of hugging the wall and realizing the situation. Coming to the realization of how high he is.
Yeah.
And just totally hitting the panic button and freezing.
Right.
And looking for help. He was stuck and he was looking for help.
And so the 2 experienced climbers that he was with, one of them looked to him and said, there was one above him, one below him, and one of the experienced climbers said, "Listen, Mark, no one's coming to save you. I'm not coming up to save you. The guy above you is not coming down to save you. You have to control where you're at." And the preface of the story, we'll just hurry through it. The preface of the story is you have to control where you at, hence the 3 Foot World. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, stay within your circle of control.
Yeah.
And I try to think about myself. When I hear stories like Mark's, I always, a solid mental skill, honestly, for me in my life is just trying to insert myself into the situation. That's why stories are so great, right?
Right.
That's why we share stories when we teach. It's one of the best ways to compartmentalize a lesson. And so I try to envision myself as Mark sitting on that wall looking around because I hate heights myself. And, receiving that kind of guidance from an expert in his discipline of rock climbing, right? Like Mark wasn't an expert rock climber. He was an expert Navy SEAL. So he was in a little bit of unfamiliar territory, specifically to rock climbing. And, dude, to be in his spot and have, say you're my partner out there, look up and say, dude, I'm not going to do anything. Like, this is on you. That would be terrifying. I would literally want to cry.
Yeah, yeah.
But the 3 Foot World recommendation or directive, not a recommendation. I mean, he flat out gave him the direction. Like, dude, you need to live in your 3 Foot world. The idea is that you have a circle of control and that your job is to focus solely on, in those moments of panic, in those moments of high pressure, you have to find a way to drown out all the other stimulus that's not impacting your life in a positive way, in a beneficial way. Yeah. It's actually taking away from your power, right? And so that directive to act within your circle, the things that you can control 100% in those moments of pressure, in those moments of panic, in those moments of stress, anxiety, that is where we grow. That is where we find power in progress.
Exactly, 100%. I can't help but think of the other principle that you teach, that is don't focus on the problems, but focus on the solutions.
Yeah.
So when you're in that 3-foot world and Mark's in this situation where he's up on the side of the mountain and he's freaking out,
Yeah.
he can keep freaking out and focus on the problem.
He could calculate how far the drop is.
Yeah, and that's something that you bring up in the episode is the guy below him says, instead of calculating your fall, calculate your next move.
Yeah, calculate your next move, control what you can control. And the weight of the pressure of doing a good job, anything, being a really good dad, being a really good business owner, a high-level entrepreneur, an athlete, a professional sports athlete, it doesn't matter. Pressure is pressure, right? And so the weight of that can feel like a 1,000-pound plus elephant. We talked about this the other day on a daily drip, right? If you focus on the weight, that burden only becomes heavier and your job becomes more difficult. So if you're facing a problem right now in your business, if you're facing a problem within progress, however that looks for you and your goals, the key is to not focus on the pressure, not to focus on the problem. The key is to embrace it. The key is to realize that pressure is actually a blessing, right? Like I'd like to equate that, and this isn't necessarily super specific to Mark's situation, but the pressure that we feel, and I know I'm kind of moving this, but I really want to talk about this, is a privilege. That pressure is a privilege because that means that somebody is relying on you to do a good job, to produce. Right? And that is the ultimate privilege. That as a dad, like that is my ultimate privilege, to know that when my kids look at me as a business owner, when my employees come to work and come to me for maybe everything in the beginning stages, which is kind of happening right now for me in my business because we're growing at a rapid pace and we're hiring a lot of people. Dude, that pressure is a privilege. That excites me. That makes me happy and grateful.
Yeah.
So what do? I act within my 3-foot world there. I control what I can control, and that's my actions, and that's my service-based actions every day for those people. And anyways, I don't know if I got too far off on a tangent there.
No, that's perfect. It all comes back to controlling the controllables, right? That's something that we say very often. Control the controllables. Stay within your 3-foot world. So, Dal, I guess we always want to pull action items out of these episodes.
Yeah.
So let's say that there's somebody that's having an issue focusing on their tasks, their 3-foot world. What would be sort of a remedy or a prescription that you would prescribe to help somebody stay within their 3-foot world and control their controls?
Again, we're talking about high levels of stress, high levels of anxiety, which is what Mark was undergoing in that particular moment on the cliff.
Right.
Hugging the mountain, focusing on all the stress, all the anxiety. Life wasn't happening for him. It was happening to him in those moments. And it's totally normal for us to go through a series of moments during a quarter, during a year, during a month, and sometimes it's happening kind of regularly, and it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
The key in those moments, and this sounds kind of counterintuitive, but it's such a growth mindset principle that is so powerful, is sometimes the best action in those moments is not to take more and more and more action. Let me get specific. My wife and I were having a discussion the other day. She was going through some things, and she was super stressed out. Broke down into tears. Even was just like the weight of the world is heavy. And we talked about getting back to a routine, and not getting back to a routine just to get back to a routine, but like fully immersing yourself in those routine items, those routine actions that serve you and make you better, and refraining from adding more to your plate.
Yeah.
Right? And, meditation, take that for example, like fully immersing yourself in meditation and making that part of your routine. That's something you can control. And what does meditation do? Well, it's going to alleviate a lot of stress and anxiety when you clear your mind and you're not focused on problems anymore. And delivering on that consistently for a week.
Right.
And fully immersing yourself and not trying to add more to your plate in the morning. In fact, taking some of those things off of your plate that maybe aren't serving you in the moment and understanding that that's what strategic means.
Yeah.
Paying attention to the details that your life's providing you and acting in accordance with whatever those adjustments are that need to happen.
Yeah.
And
No, so oftentimes, I know when I feel anxious, I know when other people feel stressed and anxious, we think that we need to move fast. We need to
get things done. I'm stressed and anxious because I need to get all these things done.
Exactly. We have all of these list items that we need to make sure that we're getting done. So an actionable item would be to pause and prioritize that list.
Yes.
And start attacking the things that are going to most affect you positively.
For sure.
Before you get to the other thing. So prioritizing would be one of the action items to stay
prioritizing
within your 3-foot world.
Dude, and self-care is a big factor here. Like, you're not going to do a better job on that checklist of all these different things that you're looking to accomplish that are adding to your anxiety, quote unquote, if you're not in a good headspace, if you're not in a good physical space, if you're not in a good... And so that's what I mean by refraining from adding more to your plate and sometimes even taking away a few things that might not be priorities and implementing a little more self-care, building a little more self-awareness, right? Again, peace of mind always comes to mind when stress and levels of anxiety are high. Right? There's a lot going on in your brain. And treat yourself like you're somebody you want to help. You know, I love that statement, and in those moments when you're hugging the cliff and you're feeling it, 3-foot world means you need to start treating yourself a little bit differently, like you are somebody you want to help. Meaning you have the power to help yourself. You don't have to look to Billy below you and Jimmy above you to come save you. Yeah. In fact, if they come save you, you're going to lose out on some really awesome lessons. So, in a sense, that situation that you're stuck in is a blessing because it's giving you the opportunity to problem solve, become better, and again, happen for you, not to you.
Yeah, exactly. This necessarily doesn't mean not asking for help, though, right?
It could 100% mean asking for help.
Okay. So explain that.
Yeah, it could 100% mean asking for help when you need it. Asking for help is an egotistical... is rooted in ego, meaning like if we don't ask for help, that's rooted in ego, meaning pride steps in. And I remember multiple times in different relationships, high-level relationships, and all the different roles that I've played in my life, it seems like that always came back full circle in those moments when stress and anxiety were high on one person's end and another person was trying to help. I can specifically remember people telling me, but I don't want your help. This is on me. I need to do this. You are not adding fuel to progress in that moment when you respond that way.
Yeah.
Right? It's swallowing that pill, accepting help, and that's a powerful piece.
Dude, it's something that I talk about pretty often is in order to have a growth mindset, in order to grow, you have to be humble.
Yeah.
You have to have humility. You have to realize that some of the things you're doing are probably wrong.
Yeah.
And you need to make that pivot to do the right things. And asking for help is one of those things that takes humility. You have you have to be humbled to be able to ask for help.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. And the more that you ask for help in those moments, the more you'll learn. Perspective is everything. And so gathering perspective from other angles, you're only one piece to the puzzle that makes the whole. And that perspective is so valuable.
Yeah, it is. It is. So action items for 3-foot world. You're stuck in your 3-foot world. How do you take advantage? Prioritize. What was the next one?
Self-care. Self-care is huge with being stuck in an extended moment of high-level anxiety and stress. Self-care is such a big factor because you can control that.
Yeah.
You can control getting up in the morning early.
Right.
You can control doing a workout. Like those are all things you can do no matter what.
Right.
No matter what's going on at work, no matter the toxicity that's happening in those other environments, right? Like you can go do those things day in and day out, and you can do them well.
And it can benefit you.
And that builds momentum, and it builds competency, and it builds peace of mind and so many other things.
Yep. So what was the first one again?
Prioritize. Self-care. Ask for help.
Well, do everything you can first.
Do everything you
can.
Do
everything
first.
you can. Absolutely. Stop, analyze, prioritize, break down, and do
maybe
everything
take out a few items, right? Like maybe unload your plate a little bit if possible.
Yep.
Not forever, but momentarily, so that you can gather yourself. Right.
Take those things off of your plate that aren't in line with your definite major purpose or aren't in line with the goal that you're trying to attack or accomplish at that moment. Sometimes,
that's a good point, Jax. A lot of the time, that anxiety we feel, it's coming from things that actually don't even matter.
Exactly.
Right?
So take it that's exactly what I'm trying to get at, is make sure that the things that you're doing are in line with that goal that you have set that you're trying to accomplish. Yeah. So if you're in your 3 foot world, you're having anxiety, it could be that you don't know exactly what your definite major purpose is, and definitely you don't know what your goal is. So defining your goal, revisit that.
Get some help from some people around you, mentors, coaches, and people you respect that can give good direction there.
Yep.
Revisit that and get that well defined, because that could be part of the issue.
And once you have it well defined,
lack of direction would be a struggle.
It's motivating.
Yep.
It keeps you motivated and keeps you on that path to be able to accomplish the things that you're trying to accomplish. And then the last and final action item would be, once you've done all these things, ask for help.
Yeah.
Always.
There's no shame in asking for help.
Being in your 3 foot world doesn't mean doing everything you can, like, by yourself. That's not what that means.
No, and what we talk about is failure is feedback. We use the word feedback, and when we face failure, right, to amplify that feedback, go bounce it off somebody.
Yeah.
That's a good way to look at that.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a book recommendation today. I haven't done that for a little while.
No, yeah, do it.
So another action item, this is like solid core resource here that could help for anybody who's listening today and they're like, they get me. Yeah. This is what I'm going through. This is what I'm experiencing on a regular basis, or today this is happening, right? My recommendation on a core resource would be to go and get the book Essentialism by Greg McKeown. This is such a solid resource. It could help so much for anybody who's going through these feelings.
Awesome.
It's an awesome book, dude.
Awesome. Well, I think that's a great place to end.
Yeah.
Nice, perfect place to end. Dallas, thank you so much for taking your time to do these extended cuts and the daily drips. I know you put a lot of effort and work into those, so thank you for your time. Also, we have Lance in the studio with us today, who's been helping us run our audio and visual.
We appreciate Lance.
We're super grateful for you, Lance. Thanks for being here with us.
We're going to do everything in our power to amplify this so that you guys can have the best experience possible and learn at the highest level possible with all of everything that we're producing.
Definitely. So. We're trying to up it and make it better every single time. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you comment, give us a rating, and share this with people that you think might need it. Or if you're listening, first off, you got to listen to it, and then share it with those that you think might benefit from it. Thanks for tuning in today, everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend. If you're tuning in on Monday, have a great rest of your week. We're grateful to have you part of the family and listening to the Growthcast. So have a great day. Take care.